This is a video log on my thoughts on the test animation I did for Under the Camera, and I'll play it now and go through it and talk about it. So the idea of this is the different images, or the different drawings in the T come up in time with the horn. So the firework one was probably the most successful, and the rest was just completely out of time. But one thing I like the most about it is this beginning bit, the moving around all the tea leaves, tea, and having that weird kind of boiling effect, in a way. But the firework was probably the more successful one. The rest of it completely out of time. The reason being is that when I made this, everyone around, all of my peers had done animatics, and some of them had finished their Under the Camera animation in session, and I kind of just panically, I guess, made it. I was still planning it at this stage, and people had finished it or done their animatic. But so I frantically had the logs that I had and made it, and it just went completely out of time. And the reason being because of the fit of panic and just making it because everybody else did, which was not good, because it's obviously that's their animation, this is my animation, and it's good and in animation to take your time with it. You can't really rush animation, or else or else this is the result you get, completely out of time. It takes hours, I would say, of planning, even probably days if you want to take that long. You have to be really, really careful about it. But it shows you the general idea of the animation, but you don't get the concept of that it's meant to be in time. That's the only problem. But in future, if I was to do tests, it obviously will be more planned out. Okay, okay, this is what I want to do. I'll test it out by filming this. Do it for walk cycles, do it for something like this kind of animation for Under the Camera. But good did come out of it. I did understand the login times. Kind of like, okay, be careful with the logs, calculate them correctly, check them, triple check them, and all that lot. And just keep checking it and calculating it so you understand how many frames it'll be and how long it'll take for each image to appear. This one's actually not far off of it. This is actually 1 frame late. So I normally do it for the first kind of noise, so that is the start for me of the horn, and then this one I went a little bit later, a little bit more of it. So at 1010 is when they actually kind of hear the horn. So that is brilliantly timed. But the other thing that was the problem, as I thought of it, was the metamorphosis happened too early. I should have held that a lot longer and then metamorphosized, and then held that longer, or if I held the firework longer, then this would have metamorphosized later on in it, meaning that this one would probably not appear too early. But the main thing would be obviously check the logs, keep calculating it, and make sure that you're getting it in time and correct your logs. And another thing to be aware of when animating sound is that we see things before we hear it. So with this animation, you would see this image before we would hear the sound. The science of that light travels faster than sound. So something to be aware of is that this should be a frame above. I say should, I say more could. It's your own personal preference, but you should, to be honest, have it a frame before the actual log. So say for example, it's meant to be logged in 302, you should place the explosion like this one being that it should be here. Or if it was that this is the actual log that I wanted, as I said before, the ch is where I wanted the explosion to be, so I'd have to put it here on 108, and if you were to explode it on 10, you'll have to place it on 109. So as I said, light travels faster than sound, and we see things before we hear things. But overall, awful test. Should have took my time with it really, not thought about what everyone else was doing, and concentrating on my own work really, and my own animation. Thinking, no, I'm going to take my time with the login, because it's all about the timing, it's all about the planning. You can't just rush in animating like this, like I did. So I would say stupid mistake of doing that, but I would say yeah. So or really not very good test piece at all, but overall you learn from it, and a lot more planning and calculating over and over again, and that's everything.